The Pan-African Parliament is a legislative organ of the African Union. So we are hosted in Johannesburg, South Africa. And we are still a quasi-legislative organ, so which means we are not making laws that affect member states, but we do make what I'm called model laws and also issues. We also issue recommendations and also other legislative instruments. Our membership is drawn from the MPs sitting in their national parliaments across all the 55 AU member states. So each country sends 5 delegates. So that means that our MPs have a dual role in terms of being MPs in their national parliaments and also at the continental level. So as an AU institution and a supranational institution, we are a multilingual institution. So we work in Arabic, English, French, Portuguese, Spanish, and Swahili. So basically it means that without the support for the languages, we cannot be able to function. So when you talk about why the need for modernization in Parliament, number one, in terms of our current challenges is lack of visibility. Many of the citizens across the continent do not know us, and this is because they're not able to interact with the products. So like our decisions, our model laws, our communiques, all this, our press releases, all these things that talk to substantive matters within the continent do not get known by the people, and thus we lack visibility in that. And then also the second part is, and this is normally a core role of IT, there's a need to improve efficiency in the way we do things, the way we work, and streamlining of processes. So this time we're looking at both the legislative and administrative. The third is knowledge management and research. So it's because parliaments are generally what my former boss used to call information factories. They produce a lot of legal information, and there's a need to manage this information in a way that it enhances knowledge and research. So it's very, very important that we are able to do this so that, once it is managed adequately, products can be developed that then become useful to the citizens who are our main clientele, if I might put it that way. Also, the informatization is also about sustainability. As technology changes, we need to look at sustainability, environmental factors, like how do we, reduce wastage, go green, and how do we make it like a long-term activity, not just a once-off activity. So I'm just gonna try and speak through some solutions. Some are on the slide, some are not on the slide. So just to try and show like what do we want as a parliament to achieve. So one of the first things we normally want to develop, and this is in the pipeline, is a PAP, Parliamentary Information System. This is important because not only does it streamline the processes, in terms of the work that we do, the workflows and everything, is also the ability to generate the final documents and outputs and products in open data ready standard format. So it's as many aspects. There is converting previous documents that we have into XML standard. There is building a system that is open data, ready. There is business process reengineering, looking at how we work with the things that we do. How do we include, how do we make them more efficient, like what can we do to make the work that we do, better, more efficient, more cost effective, more green, more sustainable. And this also looks at moving into an e-parliament system. So we're talking about like a solution where end-to-end, where we're looking at from the hybrid conferencing, so moving into paperless conferencing, and also linking it with an information system so that right from the deliberations on the floor, all through the workflow, all the document generation, all this is within a comprehensive system that is robust and that is paperless and also at the same time sustainable. The other thing, normally a big thing for us is, as I said, is about visibility, is how do we make our products available to people? So this now we talk about open data portal, making our information available in open data standards so that it can be used by whoever needs to work with, and also this process is also about converting a lot of the PDF documents that we have into XML-based format, following into the Akomantoso standard for XML, for legislative information. So we're looking at that. And having an open data portal and standard will also enhance our knowledge management capabilities and research, because by having it in this standard, it means that we can be able to have information and our documents and our products, maybe looking at thematic areas, or maybe looking at specific deliverables or goals. For example, within the African Union, we talk about Agenda 2063 goals. We have the midterm goals, the end-term goals. So, and then also looking at the strategic goals of the African Union, the strategic goals of the Pan-African Parliament. So looking at all that. So if we're able to linking with the information system, producing the outputs in open data ready format, then publishing in our open data portal, and then people are able to access information, use it, reuse it, modify, create products. So that is one of the things that we are also, looking at in terms of modernization. The other thing is, sorry, I just wanted to, I wanted to show, like, for example, we already have the open data portal, but the information is a bit dated because we need to convert the information, the old information into, and bring it into the portal. So we've done some work, but we still need to enhance it. And so far, as you can see, there is our Hansard, which is one of the products, resolutions, recommendations. There's activity reports, there's model law, and there's a lot more that we would like to have available in our portal. Now, infrastructure is a challenge because, management of servers and managing of data centers and all that is a lot of work. So given our challenges, especially having obsolete equipment, and then the various power issues that have been affecting our host country, and coupled with the low funding, budget constraints, we've adopted a cloud-first approach. So that means that as part of modernization, we deploy systems to the cloud. So if you look at administrative systems like your email, office productivity, all that, we are looking at going to the Office 365, for example. That's what actually we use. In terms of our ERP, which we are supported by the headquarters, the African Union headquarters, we are looking at migration to cloud, which they are looking at now, how to move it to the cloud. In terms of meetings, and especially, still learning from COVID. COVID was a big learning curve for us there. There's aspect of now we're doing a lot of Zoom meetings, and majority of our meetings are now hybrid. So we have the physical aspect, and then we have the Zoom aspect. And the reason I'm mentioning Zoom specifically is because Zoom supports multilingual conferencing. So we're able to have users in the meeting rooms in different languages. So the interpreters sit off remote, and the users can interact in languages depending on the interpreters that we have for the meetings. The other thing that we are looking at, and this is something that is now becoming a big thing for us, is translation. Multilingual operation in terms of conferencing, in knowledge generation, information management is very expensive. It's very expensive. So one of the things we are looking at now, especially given the fact that we're in the area of large language models, backed by deep learning, and we have things like ChatGPT right now and all that. We are looking at how do we now use AI-backed translation tools to be able to work effectively and reduce our cost significantly. So this is one aspect that we are looking at in terms of incorporating artificial intelligence in what we do, because it offers significant opportunities for significant savings if it is done right. The only challenge normally is that legal information is very context-based. So, for example, in parliamentary terms, you would look at a clerk would not mean the same thing as a clerk in a normal town. So we have very specific terms and language we use. So there's a need for being able to refine all this and specifically focus on legal and parliamentary language across our various official languages. And then also realize that some languages are not very well resourced. Like, for example, a language like Swahili, which is an official language of the AU, but it is not very well resourced because of very many factors, and it's a matter that is being discussed within the computer science field in terms of how to improve the low resource languages. So translation is an area we are looking at in terms of how do we leverage AI to make savings. Another thing that we've been exploring, playing around with, is chat, multilingual chat. How do you enhance communication between not only us and the external people, for example, those seeking information, but also between the MPs themselves? How do we provide a platform where they can communicate, share documents, and chat amongst themselves within, and be able to communicate within themselves, within their various committees or caucuses, and understand each other? So one of the things we've been exploring is a multilingual chat app. So, where it uses the Google Translate API to, translate and give translations. So this is something that we are here to roll out because we are really trying to test, and given the sensitive nature of language, we are really trying to test and make sure that it is robust and that we are able to ensure at least above average user experience. So for us, those in a nutshell, those are one of the just quick. So we've developed a digital transformation strategy. So we've outlined various opportunities, and one of the I'm highlighted there is looking at a multimedia digital congress system, which is hybrid, so same look and feel for parliamentary work, be it voting, document access, attendance tracking, and just ensuring that we are able to, provide the current parliamentary, within the parliament candidate sitting, we're able to provide services that at least move our parliament forward in terms of innovation, if I may put it that way. Some other things that I could also just talk about is also in terms of, speech to text, because there's a Hansard function. So how can we leverage things? Speech to text is actually important for the Hansard. Hansard is what other parliaments would refer to as verbatim, where you record verbatim what members say on the floor. So areas we're looking at also is that speech to text. How do we do that? How do we reform the Hansard's function and bring in speech to text, and so make it more efficient, at the same time reducing costs? So we're also trying to see machine learning, AI-based speech to text systems. And given the multilingual nature of our parliaments, it becomes a bit more challenging, but that is something that is planned in the pipeline. It's not immediate. And also when you look at things like also our live broadcasting, how do we improve that? So like nowadays, closed captioning is something that is available by default. So how do we now incorporate AI-based closed captioning in a multilingual environment? So we have those thoughts on how to explore that in the future. Lastly, I think what I would say is also how we would make parliaments make use of data visualization and analytics. I believe this is a space that parliaments need to really look at, because it is important to provide members of parliament information in a way that it is easy to digest and make sense very quickly. And we, as parliament, we consume a lot of information, and sometimes it comes in a format that you'll get like big reports, lots of pages. So like having teams that can able to digest information and create, do analysis and create visuals that would enhance how quickly MPs, members of parliament, are able to absorb the information, or even how we present the information out to the public in terms of analytics and visualization, is something that I think we'll actually give it serious consideration, because that is the future. For now, that's all I have to say in terms of what we're looking at in terms of modernization. Thank you.